what are some other things that you found AI to be helpful with in a ministry setting?
Yeah, so I use it kind of in four main ways, and we'll talk about a few other options that I've found some people have suggested. But I definitely use it for my sermon prep and writing, whether it's brainstorming titles and serious ideas, to get more creative with the way I maybe would say a point or come up with a series idea. It helped me think through my outlining my messages with my key points. I will say that if you've done the work, the hermeneutical work of having proper exegesis, and you've written that out, and you play with ChatGPT or other things like that, it will really help in those intros, those conclusions, making things sound clearer like a personal editor would in writing a book. I also think it's very valuable when you're thinking about illustrations and applications. Those things weren't really taught to us very much in seminary and a lot of preaching things. Sometimes our preaching stuff can be highly academic, but then lack that homiletical point where how do I communicate that? How do I give a practical, a very real example of how we can be doers of the word, not just hearers? And then the illustrations it comes up with. Sometimes the jokes and illustrations are cheesy. They're like bad dad jokes. But then there are other times when, man, that was a really good illustration that it came up with, and it really tied in well with my point, maybe better than I could find or come up with. So those are some good pieces. I definitely have helped when translating things because we are doing more and more of that, not just for communication, but on our online content. And so it's really nice as well. Any church communication, it's been a huge help writing professional emails, editing blogs and article content, writing invitations or creating workflows like for a ministry event. Some of us are just not very skilled administratively or not very organized. We care about people, we care about the Bible, and we want them to grow in faith, but we still need to find some strengths if there aren't other people on our team for administrative and kind of church communication stuff. So I think it helps in improving our tone. I've read quite a bit about how we engage with like first time guests and do follow up. And a lot of times our follow up and first time guest stuff is just like, it sounds so generic that ChatGPT and other things like other AI tools like that can help us improve so that it's more engaging because we really do care about people. And I think that's a great tool to have. Creative support. Now, I will say that Chat GPT, in my personal opinion, is not the best for designing title slides, sermon graphics, social media posts, generating AI images. Um, it it works through Canva, which our team already uses for a lot of our social media posts, but I don't think the integrations meshed well. There's some other platforms and AI tools that work better for kind of coming up with promotional material or content like that. I'll say we do, like if I'm putting my sermon in, I'll ask it to create me a title slide for my series. I'll have it create title slides for each one of my sermons, YouTube thumbnails. That stuff's really important. My wife has her own YouTube channel, and so YouTube thumbnails are very important when you're trying to play with that YouTube algorithm. And so I'll have it do that. Sometimes I'll have it do some quotes from my sermons, and we can use those for our social media team. And so it makes a volunteer's job really easy, especially when they have families, and a lot of times they're not getting paid to do some of this creative things in our church for us. So it is ChatGPT's okay, but again, there are some other ones. I think we'll talk about them at the end too that are a little bit better as far as the media stuff. And the other way that I've found has been really, really helpful is the strategic planning. Whether it's organizing ministry structures like your elders, your teams, your discipleship processes, your follow-up processes. It's great to do task planning and use an administrative tool. It does create PDFs and PowerPoints for you if you want them. It'll help you come up with an outreach follow-up guide. I'll give you an example. I'm working with a young adult who is from a different country, and he wants to lead some of our young adult ministry at our church. And so I realized the other day, I don't know when this happened to me, Rich, but I'm no longer in the young adult category. So I said, well, I guess I need to do a little bit of research on this. And so he and I did a little bit of research about how to start a young adult ministry and kind of created a 1.5 page strategy of how we do that. And when we got done looking at it and working with ChatGPT, he's like, oh man, this is like exactly what we did in my college student ministry. Uh, I feel so empowered and equipped now that I can definitely do this having this right here. And so we've done the same thing with our media team when we've said, okay, create us a media strategy. And you have to ask specific and you have to ask good questions. We learned that in high school, at least I remember learning that in high school when you did any research. And so the same thing's true of any of the AI tools. Um, you want to stay away from kind of the generic, although that can be helpful. But if you ask really good, specific questions with your context, it'll put out some really good strategies that you can obviously edit, change, improve, and make shifts to with your team.
Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss what's next. Want to support the work we're doing in New England? Check out the link in the description.